this thing pull the wheels off the front? It's time, people. It's time for cheap Jeep Boost, and my Jeep Wrangler has most of all the hardware to do this, including a turbocharger and a really cool Mercedes-AMG water-to-air intercooler system. And if you guys were around for the last Jeep Wrangler video, you know what Fluid Motor Union did to this exhaust. I challenged the guys to build my Jeep exhaust out of literal spare parts, and that is exactly what they did, including megaphones on top of megaphones on top of more megaphones. So now my Jeep sounds like this. What? Oh my God! They also moved my wastegate to a much better spot, and we're gonna find out exactly how this little wastegate tailpipe sounds in this video. Now, so far, everything to the Jeep has been done with budget in mind, and today that'll be no different. We are using $40 0304 Cobra fuel injectors, a $6 old Jeep fuel rail, and we're gonna weld a bung to it. We have a Typhoon fuel pump, a Dodge Neon SRT map sensor, and because for some reason Jeep owners leave literal rubber duckies on other Jeeps to show that they like their Jeep or something, we're gonna try something with a duck call and take being a Jeep owner to a whole new level. I think we can tape this right to the blow-off valves, that way we can call other Jeeps every time we let off the gas. I think this will work right here. That looks good. But even if we can get all of these random mixed and matched parts to work, we don't know how this straight six that was designed like 60 years ago is going to live with Boost. But I am dying to find out. So let's drop this fuel tank, give this Jeep some more fuel, give it some boost, and we're getting right to work because this is legit street cars. There's no fluff included. We're outside to clean because this metal skid plate is full of stuff and it's actually really beefy. The tank itself is really light, it's plastic. But since we're opening it up, let's clean it. Oh yeah, look at all that Jeep dirt. Woo. It's solid though, not rusted out. So here's what we have going on. This is a returnless system currently, so this is just the feed line. But I was able to find this online, which is gonna add a return and then maintain the factory feed right here. And this little nipple right here is for a vacuum line. So this has a built-in 1-to-1 boost reference regulator. So as boost rises, it will increase fuel pressure, which is what you want. Now I don't have the special tool for this, so hammer it is. Almost. Do a little penetrating oil here, that might help us. There we go. Nice. Don't need no stinking tools. All right, ring's coming off. Let's lift this out. Give it a little shimmy shake. Wow, this is a nice beefy unit right here. Jeez. Gotta be very careful because we have our float right here. Take this off for now. We're just putting fuel. Okay, yeah, there we go. So we need to get a big fuel pump in here. It's built like a tank. I tried to drive the Jeep a lot, so to lower the fuel level, so we did pretty good. Inside of the tank looks perfect though. You can go swimming in there. I mean, you'd die and you can't fit inside of a gas tank, but if you could go swimming in there. Now we're gonna pull the plug on the sender, and I think if I squeeze these, little Vulcan death grip, it'll release. And let's pop this off too. Aha, got it. All right, there's a plug for the actual fuel pump in here. Is this off? I think it comes out the bottom. This is a goofy setup. I don't see any other way to get this pump out other than just like literally pulling it out. Ah, look at this. Whew. All right, wow, this is like a complicated system. It's got this tube right here that goes onto here, and then this seals onto here, like that. That's what it looks like inside of this beefy piece of aluminum. All right, whatever, this is all we need to get to. This is so goofy. This literally looks like cardboard or cork or something. It's so weird. It's like a splash guard. I don't know what this is. Well, I'm glad I did this, but I was able to pull out another filter inside of here, so we have a new one installed. So there's that filter, then we got a new little sock filter for here, and I think that's because the Jeep doesn't actually have an inline fuel filter. There's no like replaceable fuel filter outside of this, which is kind of bizarre on such an old vehicle that back then they had fuel filters. So this is our 255 liter per hour pump from Racetronics. These are excellent. I love these guys. I'll leave a link down below. I've been working with them for a while, but this is so nice. Our electrical connector is exactly the same. And this fits over here, our little transfer tube. So this is the easiest install ever to upgrade the fuel pump. We're just gonna slide this on like that. Now this is a spring, so it's gonna spring back like that, and this is gonna keep it pushed down and firm inside of this aluminum basket. But check this out, the connector is exactly the same. We don't even have to do any wiring mods. With everything connected, our pump is going right back home. I bet this pump never thought it was going into a Wrangler though. And we have our little teeth here. They're gonna click in. There we go. Now we just plug in our sender. Our gas gauge was working good, so no reason to replace this. That's it. That's how you put a big fuel pump in your Jeep Wrangler. Next, we have to replace this piece here so we can get our boost referenced regulator in there and our provision for the return. So we'll just kind of give this a little pry. There we are, nice and easy. So now we can pull this out like that. I did clean this up a bit, so now we have to transfer this dust shield over to our new unit. This is not actually seal fuel, that's what these O-rings are for. And now we can transfer this assembly onto the sending unit. It'll push right in so the O-rings are sealing. And then we'll snap in our feed line, snap in the retainer. There we go. Okay, we're ready. Oh, hold on a second, not yet, not yet. Where's my sock? We gotta snap in our sock here. And now, this unit is ready to go back. Time to go back in, so we're gonna reinstall our rubber seal, and I put a little Mercedes-Benz sunroof grease on there. But if you guys don't have that, like Vaseline would work good. There's an arrow on the sending unit here, and that lines up with this guy right here. Be careful with your float, slide it in. Now we're just gonna push it down. There we are. Get the locking ring in the mix, and we'll lock it down. Couple things before we put this tank up. We want to connect our vacuum line here, and then we need to figure out what our fuel line is going to look like and build that. And I think a 45 is going to be perfect. I have a very long 6AN hose we're going to use, so a little bit of silicone spray. Then we have our locking nut, so we're going to slide that on. Kind of give it a little twisteroo, and you want to make sure that this is all the way down. Now, if you have a vise, you're off to a pretty good start with building your own AN lines, but they sell these nice clamps that you can use in the vise, holds it and doesn't destroy anything. A little bit more silicone spray, and now you see this is threaded. So I'm going to push up on the hose, make sure that that is held in place, and then we are just going to turn this in there and just make sure that this hose doesn't slide down. You can do a lot of this by hand, but it does get tough eventually. So then you just get a wrench to finish off the job, all still while holding the line on the bottom. They do make a special wrench for this too, so you don't scratch off the red finish or blue finish or black finish. There we go. Click. With our new AN fitting not going anywhere, we're going to go ahead and thread it on. Give it a little tighten. Now, to keep everything nice and tucked up and clean, we'll run a zip tie here with all three of these lines. Bam, looking good. Before we install the tank, I did clean the inside of this. I know it looks horrible, but it is structurally sound, so this is still very, very thick. It's just a little rusted, and no, I'm not gonna grind it all down and paint it and spend 5 hours on it. It's an off-road Jeep, so we're gonna use some heavy-duty metal protector to stop it from rusting any further, and just simply gonna spray it on like that. There we go. You'll never rust again. You'll just stay just like that. Ah! Now this stuff is awesome. It's gonna turn into a wax and seal it up. Wow, this tank is so heavy for having like an 8th tank. Ow. There we are. Straps are back on. We can tighten this tank into here first. Yeah, they had little rubber booties here. We'll go right back together. Look at that. Nothing was ever done here. Good luck, straps. You got a few more years in you. Spray a little silicone into all of these. They have O-rings. And now we're just going right back up. All right, well, we're going up, but before we go all the way up, we want to start clicking in our lines. There we are. That's the feed. Now this is all for the evap for emissions, keeping that intact. All right, tightening up the tank. A couple more in here. Fuel tank's done. Let's run some lines. Okay, and that was really, really easy. We just went along with the other fuel lines right here. Everything's zip tied up. Before we continue, a moment for today's video sponsor, Prize Picks. If you guys are into fantasy sports, you are going to love this. All you have to do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for your chance to win up to 1,000 times your money. And we are in the NFL playoffs, so don't miss out on all of the action. Derrick Henry, yeah, I think he's gonna go for more than 98.5 rushing yards, but Lamar Jackson, I'm sorry, buddy, you're going for less. So then we'll finalize our lineup. Here's what we got. I like Russ, but he's getting old, man. Well, so's LeBron, but he's still doing good. And after you finalize your lineup, you just sit back, watch the games, fingers crossed, and you're off to the races. Prize Picks has over 10 million members, and they also offer weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. So each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select players' projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. Now, the best part is you guys can get the Prize Pick app for free by clicking on my link in the video description box. And when you do, don't forget to use code LEGITStreetCars. That's gonna get you $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. So 50 bucks instantly. You don't even have to win, just play a $5 lineup. So run your game with Prize Picks. Check out the link down below. Get the app. Now back to the Jeep. So now we can move on to the bigger fuel injectors and the rail. So we're gonna be chopping this end off and installing a 6AN fitting for that return line, but this looks, you know, a little rusty, so let's clean it up. The light that comes in my little blast tank is horrible, but we have a legit Streetcars Ultra Pen light to brighten things up. Goodbye, rust. Oh, it's so instant, guys. I love it. Get yourself a sandblast cabinet, people. It is the best. Nice. Here's what our fuel rail looks like out of the blast cabinet. And so what we want to do is weld this into here, but first we need a hole. We're gonna center punch right here. There we are. And then we'll start drilling. Just poking a hole in a Jeep fuel rail, that's all. Step it up a little. And our final drill. Yeah. Blowing this out. Metal and fuel system, not good. You guys know what song that is? It's been a while. The next step is something I haven't done in years, and that is welding. So check out my new welder. This is from Harbor Freight. It's the Titanium Unlimited 140. And what I really like about this, aside from its sweet green color, is that it will weld all sorts of steel, mild steel, stainless steel, and it'll TIG and MIG. So it's all in one. That's pretty cool. So for all of our TIG welding, we're gonna be using 100% argon, but I did get another tank so that we can do some MIG welding as well. And check it out. I think this tank is from 1962, and you can see the 62 there, and a 76, and we got an 88, a 99, and it keeps on going to more recently when I bought it. This tank is from 2024 though. It's a young buck. That's so cool that my tank is originally from the 60s. I mean, they basically last forever. So I took a welding class when I went to Wyotech in Laramie, Wyoming about 22 years ago. And I remember when TIG welding, there was a foot pedal, but this welder doesn't have a foot pedal. You just strike an arc. So that's kind of a first for me. But we have to start off by turning on our gas and then. Oh, it worked. Totally expected that not to work. That's cool. Oh, and if you're wondering, I'm practicing right now. All right, so we're gonna strike an arc, give it a little scratch. There we are. And we're gonna go ahead and feed in our filler. We'll see what we come up with here. Just rolling dimes over here, or stacking dimes, or whatever welders say. Okay, yeah, that's pretty horrible. I did much better over here. I had the heat turned up a little bit for this. That looks good. This looks really bad. I turned the heat down because this is really thick and that's really thin, so I'm trying to find that happy medium. All right, gas is on. So I'm gonna try and tack this first. All right. Tacked. I'm giving it a tack right now. All right, so with no filler, you can see I've connected the two, so I'll tack it on the other side. All right, I have tacked this guy on pretty well. I have technically attached two pieces of metal that I'd never met before, and now I'm going to go with the filler. All right, so I haven't used fill rod in, 22 years since I welded at Wyotech, so here goes nothing, people. We'll strike an arc. There we are, and I am currently adding filler right now. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I don't know how this is gonna look. Okay. All right, I did a little piece. Let's see. Well, it's about 15 minutes later. I've given this a few more shots and it's not good. I'm having a really hard time welding the very thin rail to this thicker fitting. I'm blowing through a little bit. Yeah, like that's not supposed to look like that. That's horrible. I definitely think it's time I just sublet this out. I'm gonna ruin my rail. But I wanna show you guys how bad my welds are because one day I hope to get better at welding. I've literally put no effort into this at all. I was just kind of being impatient and wanted to try out my new machine. But I'm gonna watch some YouTube videos, maybe take a course or something, and one day I'm hoping that I could actually weld, and then I'll show you guys that you can learn too at home. Like, this is my starting point, is what you saw right there, and now it's on the internet. You guys know how bad I am, so it can only go up from here, right? Anyway, I'm gonna have someone else do that because I gotta move on with this project. We gotta get this thing boosted. I know how to do that. All right, guys, here it is, here it is. She is welded up, and that's definitely gonna hold. So now we need to make it look pretty. So I'll start off with a little primer, which actually looks pretty good. A lot of times I do primer and I'm like, I should just leave it. And by primer, I mean Nardo Gray, Rich Rebuilds. Time for a little black. We're going gloss black here. So we'll do a light coat first. After 10 minutes, we're gonna do our wet coat. Oh yeah. With the fuel rail drying, we can move on to our Dodge Neon SRT4 map sensor. Remember the old Dodge Neon? That thing was pretty cool. But this is a 2 1/4 bar map sensor. And then here are the 2003 and 2004 Ford Mustang Cobra fuel injectors. These are 39 pounders. So we need to run this adapter in between the throttle body and the intake, and then our map sensor will plug in right here. We need to remove the intercooler. And I wanted to get a better clamp on this anyway. All right, let's see if we can just kind of move this out of the way. We don't want to have to re-bleed the system because all of our coolant is already in it. So just kind of do one of these, get out of here. And yeah, stay. Throttle body coming off. Here is our throttle body, and this is the factory map sensor, which we're gonna remove. All right, so little torque's coming out. And what I wanna see is if we can use this vacuum port. Oh yeah. That looks perfect. Look at this cute little 90-degree elbow we can hijack and use on something else too. This is our vacuum line going to our fuel pressure regulator that we installed in the tank, and it'll fit perfectly on here. So I'll cut this to length once it's back, but that's awesome. We get to use a factory port. You know how much I love factory stuff. What's cool about this adapter is they give you 2 ports. I plugged one, but this will be for a boost gauge eventually. And let's pop in this map sensor like that. And we have some nice hardware for it too. Cool. So of course we have longer bolts now for the throttle body. So we'll get these in. Spacer going in with a new gasket. Line these bolts right up. There we go. Coming down, sweet. All right, I'll tighten this up. Nice. Spacer's all torqued, and now we can run our vacuum line to it. So I'll give it a little snip. And our fuel pressure regulator has its reference. This is great. Included in the throttle body spacer were a couple of spacers for the throttle bracket, so those are done. Jeez. Injectors. This rail will not come off. There we go. A little shimmy. There we are. Okay. Jeez. All right, I'm gonna take the injectors off the rail and try and slide the rail out of here. Fuel rail's coming out. Goodbye. Beautiful fuel rail is dry, and we're gonna put this in first, and then we'll get the injectors in. With the fuel rail in place, I'm gonna slide in our Ford injectors like that. Probably just get them all in and then install the rail. Cobra injectors are installed. Now we're gonna tighten up the rail. I cut down our steel braided line and just installed a 90. So now I can feed this up to the rail. Fuel line's attached, looking good. Everything is back together, and we're about to load up a base file. So Jeremy from Cetera that tuned the Hellcat is helping me out with the tune here. We're using HP tuners. So I have their latest and greatest plugged in. Speaking of the Hellcat, here she is on winter duty. And speaking of HP tuners, look at this, curbside delivery. So I totally forgot to get this guy. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. This is gonna help me log our wideband with the new hardware that we got. Guys, this is amazing. Look at this thing. Oh, look at that, it's like brand new. This is great. So HP Tuners is local to me, and these guys are awesome. I've been using them for almost like 2 decades. Are you guys 2 decades old yet?
2 decades.
20 years of HP tuning? That's crazy, but anyway, we're good to go now for some wideband. Thanks guys, appreciate it.
No problem, thank
All
you.
right, thanks. I work with a ton of really cool companies, as you guys have seen on the channel, but HP, I've been chatting with them forever. We meet up in Vegas for SEMA all the time. They are amazing, and I really needed this, and they're like, we'll be right over. I just loaded up Jeremy's bass tune, and I added in our wideband as an input. So this is just my portable wideband that I can plug into the cigarette lighter. And this was totally my fault. I forgot to have Fluid add an O2 sensor bung for the wideband. So for now, I have it sticking in the tailpipe and taped all over the Jeep as well. Good thing it's yellow. Oh, and check out how nice this starts up with Jeremy's bass tune. It runs beautifully. So I had it running for a little bit to check everything over. We're up to temp. So it runs great, but I hear a vacuum leak. But man, does this guy run smooth. So this has the bigger injectors, our whole new fuel system, different map sensor, and it's running great on that bass tune, but I hear something. It's almost like it's underneath though. Sometimes on a manual trans, it can kind of sound like a vacuum leak with everything spinning, but I don't think that's that. Here's the vacuum line we added. I don't think it's that. Oh, wait a minute. What is that? Whoa. I found it, it's sucking my glove in. Jeez. Oh my gosh. This is like a, what is this? Oh, this has got to be for the evap system. Oh yeah. Let's see. Woo! Yeah, that's, you're not supposed to have a slit in your hose like that. That's bad. Let's see how short of a piece this is. Can I just pull it off? Oh no, it goes up there quite a ways. Give it the old chopperoo. Cut this off. Get out of here. All right, well, we cut the cancer out. That's no good. It's actually a really long, oh yeah, it's a long hose. Should be good, just cutting that out. And we'll slide this all the way and we are fixed. Oh wow, it's so quiet. I think that was leaking like pretty much the whole time I had it. That's pretty bad. But the Jeep speed density no mass airflow sensor, so it didn't set a light or anything. The idle was fine. I don't know, maybe it wasn't leaking the whole time, but it was leaking now, and that's fixed. So let's go for a ride. We will log with AFR or a Lambda, send it over to Jeremy, and hopefully start to be able to get to boost. But he said, don't get into boost yet, which is, it's hard not to. Oh, and if you guys were around for the last Jeep video, this housing for the thermostat kept on leaking, but I finally got it. I had to order a better gasket, the one that has like the silicone kind of embedded in it. The cheap ones for like $1 just would not seal. It was crazy, but that's sealed, we're good. Let me just position my duck call before this ride. Right about there. Here we go, here we go. You can hear the blow off a little. Oh, I don't have the duck call close enough. We'll have to adjust that. So silly. Watching the log and just kind of varying RPM, and I'll probably do like a 10-minute log, send it out, and we'll see. Hopefully one of these will get back. It'll say a little bit of boost now, Alex, and we'll test it out. Oh, I can't wait. We're waiting for a new tune from Jeremy. So in the meantime, let's install some gauges. I got a boost gauge and we'll install a permanent wideband. I think we're gonna put these in here where they have a sunglass case literally screwed into the dash. You know what, let's just get rid of this now. This is a good idea though, I gotta say. I like it, it's not bad. Wow, they really went to town with this screw. It's a big one. Woo. Oh, come on. They glued it too. Jeez, what kind of glasses we got here? I don't know what that is, guys. What is that? Is that fancy? Now, I pulled out the glove box so we can get some power for these gauges very close to them. So this is a fuse tap I like to use. The inside 10 amp fuse is the stock fuse. And so that leg of the circuit is still factory. And then we added a second 10 amp fuse here and those gauges pull just like a couple amps. So this is gonna be good. We're pulling in some wiring here through this factory grommet, and this is for our boost pressure sensor. So this electrical connector will plug in here. This is gonna get a reference from our intake manifold, and then it'll send that signal to the gauge. So analog gauges just have the vacuum line typically going to the back of the gauge. This is basically a map sensor. You know how much I love factory goodness. You see that hole right there? That's a factory hole doing nothing. You know where I'm going with this. We have a boost sensor with a hole about the same size. So why don't we use this hole? We'll use it for good. We'll put our sensor right there. Some nice shiny hardware. Oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. And we'll tighten it up. Go back this way, this way. There we go. There she is, all tight, ready to go. And now we need a vacuum source. And that plate that we installed in between the throttle body and the intake is gonna be our source. So we put a vacuum nipple on there and a vacuum line. This is a really short run, so we'll give our vacuum line a snip. I have it running underneath everything, stealth mode, plugged right into our new sensor like that. Beautiful. And then we'll plug in our sensor like that. Check it out, guys. We got a new tune from Jeremy. Let's open it up and write that vehicle. Here we go, look at this. 3 minutes write time, that's awesome. Whenever I upload a new tune on the Hellcat, it takes like 15, 20 minutes. You gotta have a battery charger. You should have a battery charger on anything, but this thing, it's a Jeep Wrangler. It's got no power windows. It's not drawing anything. So we're good. 2 minutes, 50 seconds left. Let's duct tape stuff. So this is silly. Don't do this at home. I just want to hear a duct call when the blow-off valve goes off. So we need to direct some of this air. So on these style blow-off valves, the air just kind of goes out from all over the place. So we're going to channel it into our duct call like this. There we go. Hopefully that'll help. And this is called duct tape because it's for ducting, but a lot of people call it duct tape. In this case, it is duct tape. I'm waiting on a gauge holder, so we use some tape here. We got our boost gauge and our wideband. You know, it's looking pretty bad, but hopefully we'll have the holder soon. Our tune is loaded up, we're ready. I got a text from Jeremy, I asked him if I can get into boost. Yes, you can. Try a little more aggressive on the throttle. No wide open yet. We don't want to blow up. We are super low on gas. Getting some 93 right now. Almost 460 a gallon. I don't know, gas prices have been kind of steady lately. How much are you guys paying for premium? Premium is so much more than regular, by the way. Do you guys remember when premium was only like 15 or 20 cents more? Now it's like $1 more. All right, so we got some gas. Gas gauge still works, that's great. And check out our gauges, bad lighting right now, but you can switch the color on this glow shift. This was like 20 bucks or something off eBay, but we can make it match. There we go, pretty well. Look at that, TRX. Got no wave from the TRX. Do the old Jeep thing. I mean, it's kind of the same brand, right? I don't know. Let's see what this sounds like. All right. It's definitely not the duck call. It makes it sound like a blow-off valve on like a Honda Civic or something. It didn't sound like that before. It was more of a whoosh. want my duck call. All right, he said I can get into a little more throttle. Oh, I felt the boost kick in for the first time. Oh, that was 5 PSI. The Jeep is actually making boost. This is awesome. All right, engine's all warmed up and I have the logger recording, so let's see what happens. Oh, whoa, this thing rips. Are you serious? Those are like maybe half throttle, but definitely getting into some boost, and it throws you back. Like, this thing is fast. Okay, from outside, you can hear the duck call a little. That's so ridiculous. We got a quacking yellow Jeep. Intake air, by the way, is awesome. I mean, this is ice cold, and we were getting about like 50 degrees, something like that. And that's just kind of doing little blasts here on the street. If we got on the highway, it'd be much colder. Back at the shop, waiting for another tune revision. And we're gonna go back together with the cowl. So it will still have kind of this snorkel because they cut it into this, but they won't be functional anymore, you know, because of the turbocharger. And here we go. This truck is so easy to work on. Yes, I just called it a truck. I don't know, what do you guys call Jeeps? I mean, they're SUVs, I guess, right? They're their own thing. It's a Jeep thing, you wouldn't understand unless you have a Jeep. Just got our gauge holder. It's gonna sit right here, so I'll loosen this up. This is all very easy to take apart. So we'll remove this, and it should be pretty simple. It's gonna sit right where the glasses case sat, right about there. That's mean. So we'll peel the tape. And it doesn't come with the tape, by the way. You have to add that on yourself. Guess what do you expect for 20 bucks? All right, now we just slide this in, and I'll apply some pressure from the bottom and all the way around. We'll mount this back up with some gauges. Feeding the wires through the holes right now, and then we'll get our gauge in there. There we go. Cheap Jeep interior, very easy to put back together too. All right, we're gonna plug in the boost one first. Boost, let's see how she fits. Oh, great, perfect. Look at that, oh, this is so cool. Nice. All right, Jeremy at Soteris said I can do one wide open throttle run with this new tune. I'm just kind of scared, but here we go. Half throttle. That was half throttle. I gotta ease into it. This thing is going to rip. Oh my gosh. That's great, and it's richening up. It's running pretty rich though at this half throttle, but that's good. You don't want lean, that's bad. Let's give him a couple more, you know, for the log. All right, that was like 12 air fuel at half throttle. I still haven't gone full throttle. I'm just freaked out, guys. Like, I'm a little scared. Oh, I don't want to blow up my baby. All right, guys, here we go. I'm gonna go wide open. My heart is pounding. Oh my gosh. This little Jeep Wrangler is quick. Oh man. All right, so I was just glancing at the AFR gauge. That's what it's called. And it went right to like 10.0, which I'm okay with that right now. Oh, that was our first time, so I'm gonna send this back to Jeremy. He'll make some adjustments. I'm like freaked out, man. I'm giving him a little bit more of a log. And this is extremely fun, jeez. Gotta fix that exhaust though. Yeah, it's like for 200 RPM, it makes noise. Guys, you might want to turbocharge your straight 6 Jeep Wrangler. Like, this is really cool. All right, we're removing the duck call for now. It's time to get serious here, people. Not really gonna keep this on. And we'll be able to hear what this blow-off valve really sounds like if I can get all this tape off. Right, let's probably not do that too much. Don't want to attract the ducks. Well, it's the next morning and we have snow. And I actually did drive the Jeep home yesterday, did some more logging. Everything looks good so far. So I was only given permission to do one wide open throttle pull before. Now we can do a few of them and we gotta go have some fun. Turbo Jeep. Woo, fires right up. We definitely need some 4 high, 1 click. And my Jeep is super high tech. It tells you when you're in 4-wheel drive. Uh-oh, wideband is gone. All right, yeah, it fell out of the exhaust. You know what? AFR looked pretty good. Not gonna lie, I'm not looking at it right now anyway, so yeah, we're gonna take this out. Luckily, the sensor is deep inside here, so it should be good. We'll take off our yellow tape. There we go. It's a stock Jeep now. I was driving my son around to his activities last night, and I got the old Jeep, hold on, this hand on the steering wheel, and I'm like, I gave him one of these. It was very awkward. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, that's Jeep noob, I guess. That's what I am. I'm back in two-wheel drive. It's too much fun. I mean, four-wheel is awesome too. It's awesome all the time. Oh, okay, we're good. All right, we've been ripping for a little while here. Just want to check everything over. It is still a fresh build. No smoke, no nothing, no leaks. So one thing I did notice though, our intake air temps, they're okay. Like when we're messing around, you know, wide open throttle, whatever we're doing, we're seeing like 90 or so. I think it's like 32 degrees out. This issue here, I pointed this out in the last video. The factory radiator hose is right on the intake tube. I don't know if that's actually translating into much higher intake air temp, but we could definitely do a little bit better. Swap out this hose and see what we see, but wow, this is great. Our Mercedes intercooler is super cold. Like it's not even warm, it's actually cold. And how's our heat exchanger? I mean, it's clean. It's not getting packed with snow, which I mean, honestly wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Let's see, pump is still good. Oh yeah, we're getting flow. Let's see. Oh my gosh, it's cold. It's like drinking water temperature. But don't drink antifreeze or you'll probably die. But yeah, no, everything's good, guys. Straight six, baby. She's alive. Guys, I just want to bring my mic in closer to the engine. Listen how quiet this thing is. That's how they all are. These are seriously the best engines. Like they last forever. There's guys with the straight sixes with 500,000 miles, no problem. They were just discontinued for emissions reasons, and then they went to the minivan V6. This, I think, is the last of the really good Jeep engines. Let me know in the comments if you agree. I love you. Oh, and check it out, guys. We're not getting any blow-by out of the breathers at all. I have 2 open breathers, that's all. And a lot of guys with turbo cars, you'll see this steaming out. If you guys remember on my Mitsubishi Eclipse, the blow-by on those, and this is just normal, well, mine's got 250,000 miles, so it doesn't help. But it's so much that it'll blow the dipstick tube out, and I had to use a bunch of bungee cords to keep it down. It was still spewing oil. And this wasn't even designed for boost, and it's good. Anyway, let's go back to the shop. Let's fix this and do some more ripping. Guys, check out this crack on my windshield. Like that literally just developed right now. It's from all the power. We're twisting the frame and the body on the Jeep. I'm just kidding, but seriously, I never had that crack. Earlier this morning, I thought I saw a little something up there, and it's continuing to crack from, I'm just gonna say from all the power. It's from the power. We're back at the shop and we don't need a lot here. We just need a little clearance, just like that. So before I go through the hassle of the parts store and looking at 100 different hoses, we're gonna loosen up the turbo and see if we can clock it like just a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. Its natural position actually is a lot closer. I'd already loosened the other ones. A 45 here would be nice. I just don't have a 2-inch 45 on me. But check this out. If we just go down like that, and then give her a tighten. We'll move it into position. And I loosened up the exhaust center section as well so we can get maximum rotatability. It's a word. It's when you get a lot of rotation. Anyway, I'm holding this and we'll tighten everything up and see what we got. Check it out. Oh, we have our clearance. That's perfect. Nice, easy fix. Thanks, Jeep, you're the best. So these are the old brackets for the air-to-air intercooler. We're gonna get rid of these. Now, this passenger side is the only one we can fit this back onto. It is the side with the cracked windshield, so I don't know. Probably has nothing to do with it at all. Ooh, will it fit over the air filter? Yeah, just barely. I have to reroute this ground. There we go. Bam, look at that. This is oddly difficult to do. Like, did I bend the Jeep with all this turbo boost? Whatever. Supported. I don't know about this one fitting with the intercooler, but we're gonna give it a try right now. Yeah, this intercooler is like directly in its way. We could kind of bend it though. This might just give it a natural twist. Okay, so it's in place right now. It's actually holding the intercooler down, but I don't want any metal to metal contact here. So sometimes you just gotta bend metal a little bit around these tubes. That could really help us. I found some really nice spacers too that could help. I have no idea what this is from, but it was in my junk drawer and this looks even better. Let's give it a try. Longer bolt. Ooh, that looks nice. This is looking great. Give it one more little. Yeah. Are we braced? I think we're braced, guys. We got like a 1/4 inch there. Both braces are intact, they're installed. Awesome, we have our subframe connectors up here so our windshield doesn't crack. We got a new tune from Jeremy, so I'm giving it some test runs, and we're gonna hop on the highway and give him a nice long log. Oh my gosh, so the wastegate dump is like right underneath, so I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's like a little mini exhaust pipe, like a 2-incher. It sounds so ridiculous on this. Oh my gosh, I can only imagine what this sounds like from outside. Like, does this thing pull the wheels off the front or something? This is nuts, guys. If you're wondering how the drivetrain is gonna survive, I think it's only surviving because we're spinning a little bit or a lot of it, depending if we're on snow. Right now, they've pretty much plowed and there's salt and water and stuff on the ground. But I don't know if these axles will hold up. Yeah, dry pavement, dropping the clutch, I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna end in anything good. Yeah, we'd probably need like Dana 60s or something, and we just have Dana 35 in the back and a Dana 30 in the front. Upgraded axles and all that good stuff, but there's only so much this thing can handle, I think. But I'm on the highway cruising right now. I drove it home last night. Everything is perfect. It keeps getting better with every tune revision. And something that's insane is that we have like no timing in this. So this was all a big experiment with Jeremy tuning this thing remotely. This is an ancient PCM. They actually got significantly better in 2005. So I have a 2004, so Jeremy had to do a lot of trickery in the computer to get this all to work. And right now he has like less than half of the factory timing in it. We haven't added any back in because we're getting the fueling down right. So this has a lot in it. We're running a max of 10 pounds of boost, which I think is perfect for this engine to live. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with just leaving the timing as is. I'm pretty sure we doubled the horsepower and torque on this Jeep. It feels insane. And if you guys have ever driven one of these things stock, like, you know what they don't do. They don't throw you back. I mean, this thing seriously rips. I wish you could be in this Jeep with me right now, all almost 1.3 million of you. But driving this thing around just sounds so ridiculous. Like, I can't wait to get the exhaust fixed because of the rasp that we get at 2,000 RPM. But like, let me know what you think this sounds like, but it definitely has some 2JZ notes, you know, in the exhaust with the turbo noises. It's a straight 6. In that sense, they're very similar. It's like, it's a 2JZ Jeep, basically. So future plans for my Jeep Wrangler, because honestly, I mean, at this point, everything works great. Like, it's all good. I do want to eventually get it on the dyno, although that'll be interesting with the 35s and stuff. So we'll see what happens there. But it's super safe right now. I'm pretty happy with the power, but I'm just more curious, what does this actually make? So eventually we'll get it on the dyno. I got some lights for it. I think I'm gonna swap out the front bumper, some little cosmetic stuff like that. But oh, we do have to fix the locker cables are like stretched out, so I got those. But other than that, the vast majority of the project is finished, and I'm actually gonna drive this. I know I say this a lot, I switch up daily drivers, but I've been daily driving the Hellcat, and then we got like kind of our first snow knock on steering wheel. So this is perfect timing, honestly, for the Jeep. I'm gonna rock this, leave the Hellcat alone, and just enjoy it. So you guys will see the Jeep back probably closer to spring, around the same time that my ML55 will be done. It's over at Fluid Motor Union. We're putting a TJ Jeep Wrangler transfer case in the ML55, so it'll have selectable 2-wheel and 4-wheel and low and all that. It's gonna be neat, and hopefully, you know, the transfer case won't break. So towards the springtime, I'll get the Jeep and the ML at some kind of off-road park, and we'll have a little battle. We'll have some fun. We'll probably break some stuff, and we'll definitely hear some turbo noises in my turbo Jeep Wrangler. Okay, that'll do it for driving. You don't want to go too fast in a lifted Jeep Wrangler with a turbocharger. I think we're good right there. Well, we made it back to legit street quarters, and this Jeep ain't seen nothing yet. I'm gonna use it for daily duties, and we'll see how she fares, and then we'll get back into some more modifications. So I just want to say a big thanks to all my sponsors, especially the local guys, Fluid Motor Union with the exhaust. It is going back there for some more stuff. And then Jeremy from Cetera really came in big time here at the end, because we didn't really know what we were going to do with tuning, and he helped us a lot with the remote tunes, and he was at home and stuff doing it. So thank you, Jeremy. Racetronics, injectors, just all, you know who you are. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching the Jeep series thus far. It is not over just yet. There will be more, and I hope all of you Jeep guys out there, you know, boost your Jeep, because it's a lot of fun. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, share the video with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's a little button down there, it's free, and it really helps me out. But most importantly, have a fantastic day. I'll see all of you in the next video. I think we could tape it to the blow-off and get this thing to call other Jeeps. I tried to. And so there's actually a couple. So here's what the fuel rail. Here's what our fuel rail looks like. For this, we are going to be TIG welding, if this would focus. And we're going to we'll have a